Hi crafty friends, welcome back to Liz Longest Designs YouTube channel. Today I am making the first page from my Alaskan cruise trip. This was the first time I had touched or gotten my hands in the Pacific Ocean, and it happened to be up in Alaska while we were on a cruise. So I'm going to make a page about it. I'm starting with this Paige Evans Garden Shop collection. This is paper 17. I just cut it in half and flipped one half over so you can see both sides. I put that just on this scrap piece of 12 by 12 so that it is all glued together. I'm going to cut off this small piece and put it down as a border. Spoiler alert, I'm going to completely 100% cover that piece up. But sometimes when you need something to be simplified visually, it really helps you just build the rest of the page. And if I wouldn't have covered that seam, it would have felt unfinished, and I think I would have been more distracted by it. I backed my photo with a piece from the Vicki Boutin print shop collection, and then I've gathered a bunch of cut aparts and different pieces of things from some other collections that all coordinate really nicely together. This piece that I'm cutting out in the circles right now is also from Vicki Boutin print shop. It is the vellum paper. Some of these pieces are also from a Heidi Swept Sun Chaser collection. Some of it is more Vicki Boutin print shop. A couple of these pieces are from the Jen Hadfield Stardust sticker book. So I'm just layering up all of these elements, trying to balance the colors. If I have that multicolor piece always on a journey on the right, I'm balancing that with the Wonderful Day piece that has similar colors on the left side of the photo. And I'm working from the biggest pieces first. So you can see I've placed a bunch of those larger pieces, and I've kind of run out of the space that I want to take up on the page. So some of those larger tags may or may not, make it onto the final layout. So I'm kind of just placing everything around, seeing how much I can get or how much I need to get that layered look that I'm going for, so that I can pull these off and ink the edges of everything. I'm using the Distress Oxide in Walnut Stain. That's my brown go-to for edges. And so I'm going to ink up all of these pieces, and then I'm going to start actually sticking things down this time around. Some pieces are going to get moved around, but this gives me a really good starting point for knowing how much I need to fill in the space that I want. So I'm just going to make sure as I'm sticking these things down, I'm not covering up text or hiding pieces so that the items on these cards isn't legible. So I'm going to start with the Always on a Journey there on the right, and then start building my page out from there. And then just making sure there aren't any major gaps or valleys or anything between any of these pieces. So I trimmed off the side there, re-inked it. The vellum, I'm going to not worry as much about what I can see behind the vellum, but I do make sure I put the adhesive in an area that it's going to get hidden. But I like the layered look behind the vellum as well, since this page is just full of tons of layers. And then I cut off the vellum circle and used that cutoff piece below the Always on a Journey just to bring that across, that design element across the page. These sticker tags, well, these tags from Jen Hadfield are also stickers, so I just peeled the back off of there. The number 1 vellum, at the time, totally made sense to me. I was planning on kind of incorporating that into my title, since this is the first time I've done something. Again, spoiler alert, I'm going to completely cover that up and you won't notice it, but I know it's there, since sometimes that's all that matters. So I'm just going to move things around. I'm going to put that Remember on the left, since it has the same color that's already there on the right. So again, I'm just balancing all of those elements across the page so that it feels balanced. I really like the collect kind of below the photo, but it had a gap, so I'm going to add some more paper, some of these other pieces, larger pieces that didn't quite make the cut the first time around, I'm going to add that in so that there is paper and design all the way around the photo and there aren't all of these gaps, trap spaces, and all of that. So I've got all my larger pieces on, so I'm going to work on the title. The title is going to take me a little while. I rearrange it, I think 2, maybe 3 times. These are stickers from the Simple Stories Color Vibe collection. I believe this is the spring book. So I'm going to mix and match a couple of different colors, and each of the colors has like 3 different styles in this booklet, which I really like being able to mix and match. So you can see I write out first with the one right there, and it was just going to be first time. And then I already was like, no, I think I want to add what was it the first time of. So I'm going to say it was the first time in the Pacific. But then my letters start to overlap onto the photo and covering up some of the waterline area, which I think is really important to be able to see and help tell the story of why I'm scrapbooking this moment. So I'm going to start moving and rearranging all these pieces. These stickers are pretty thin. I tend to scrapbook by putting down and pulling up and putting down and pulling up, and these stickers aren't necessarily the best for that, but I made it work. If you look really closely at the page in my album, you'll notice some creases, and you can definitely tell that I moved these stickers around. So if that bothers you, make sure you plan ahead a little better than I did on this page. But realistically, I'm okay with it. I don't think anyone's going to be inspecting my albums that closely. I will be the only one that notices. And most of the time, if it's something that I think I'm going to be the only one that notice, it doesn't bother me all that much. I've still got the memory in my album and my story told. And for me, that is the most important part. So like I said, I'm going to rearrange this title more than once. So I've rearranged Pacific. I'm now going to move first down so that it feels more cohesive. It's near the rest of the letters. And you can see I've got the word time stuck to my hand there, so I'm going to put that back on. And then I thought I was feeling a little too color blocky with everything on the left side ending up in the yellow and everything on the right side kind of ending up in this blue. So I'm going to take off the in from the left, move it to the right, so it kind of goes back and forth, yellow, blue, yellow, blue. I've got all of my paper elements done on the page, so it's time to add some stickers. I'm using Jen Hadfield Stardust 6x12 sticker sheet to add some other embellishments. It's feeling a little blocky, so I'm going to add some other shaped pieces that work. The color schemes work, the shapes work, and it kind of softens up the whole look. The balloons work color-wise. I'm not sure how they really tie into the story other than it was a celebration of getting to the Pacific. And once I cut off the edge, I think they just almost look like circles in that color, so it totally works for me. I'm going to add some stars around. I've added a flower and some other circle elements, so this rainbow is going to get tucked there down at the bottom. Yeah, and there I trim off the sides of the balloons, and they really just look like some circles there to me. Adding some more shaped pieces just to soften out some of those squares. The fun circle definitely made sense. This whole trip was really, really fun. It was a great experience. Adding some more little stars. That's kind of my confetti. For this page, I don't add enamel dots. The happiness totally works for the story as well. So I'm going to add that right above where my journaling is going to go. And that's going to be it for this page. I'll add my journaling later before I get it into my album, but since this is the first page from my Alaska trip, I wasn't sure exactly what part of the story needs to go on this page, so I'll get that in there before it goes to my album. And I hope you've enjoyed. Please like and subscribe and come back next week for my next video. Thanks, guys.